Hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Gemma, and joining me this week, I have my two excellent friends. Welcome back, Kirk. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Excellent, good to hear. And welcome back, Trev. How are you?
Hey, Gemma. I am only pretty well just because it's blazing hot,
Yeah.
but I got my AC on. Hopefully, you're not hearing it, and I'll try to stay cool.
Stay cool. Yeah, that can be our new sign off. Stay cool. Stay cool. We have a big show. I know I say that every week, but we really do have a big show. We're going to talk about the Splatoon Raiders Direct that happened last week. We're going to dive into Star Fox, which is the latest. Well, it's not the latest actually, because Rhythm Heaven has happened since then, but it is a very recent big game from Nintendo. We've got the games that we're playing, of course, and Kirk's Corner. So let's dive straight into the Splatoon Raiders Direct, and dive in is kind of a pun, I think, because they're squidlings and they dive in. Actually, before we do get into that, I just wanted to call out Jose, his comment on YouTube. I want to say thank you for always commenting, actually, but he did agree with you, Trev. Did you see the comment?
I did.
Yes.
I did. Thank you for that.
For the archiving, Jose does not archive either, so that's good to know. He did also say he was a big fan of Ocarina of Time on 3DS, which I think we can all agree is a fantastic port of that game and looked really, really cool on the 3DS. And Mario is his favorite character, which is also my favorite character. So thank you for agreeing with me on that one. But yes, we do love the comments. Please feel free to comment on anything that we do. We always read them, and it helps us feel supported. So thank you, as always.
Yeah, nice comments. I'm with you too. Ocarina on 3DS is my preferred way, honestly, to play the game. Like if I'm playing with Jen, I'll play it on 64 because we have the big screen. But if I'm just running through it myself, give me the 3DS version.
I
For sure.
just found my 3DS version, but I haven't tested it yet, but I have a memory of it not working for some reason, so I'm going to have to test that. But I found the card, so I'm going to
Oh.
put it into my 3DS and see if it still works, because for some reason in my memory, I recall the game not working. Maybe the pins were broke. I don't know. I got wet or something. Don't know what happened, but I'll give it a test because I did find it just
Man.
because I moved house and a lot of things have resurfaced. So that was
Hey, yeah, that's the one good thing about moving. You'll find stuff you haven't seen in years.
Yeah, I found some Game Boy games, which was pretty cool. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't know where my Game Boy is though. So they're not really usable.
Did you find my son's 3DS?
What color is it?
It was a blue one, but it had like a dragon skin on it, like a Lord of the Rings dragon skin. So
Ooh, that's cool. It's probably in your basement.
I was going to say, did you check your basement?
it's been missing for about 15 years now.
Oh,
so
wow. One day when you move, it'll turn up.
yeah, it'll show up one day.
Yes. Anyway, thank you. So let's talk about the Splatoon Raiders Direct, which had about 18 minutes of content about the upcoming game. The game comes out on the 23rd of July. Who watched it? I watched it. My virtual hand is up. Trev, did you watch it?
I did. I come prepared.
Yay. And Kirk. Did you do your homework?
I feel like that was directed at one of us. I'm not sure who.
Seems like it, yeah.
No, yeah,
You know, some messages are universal. So
I did not do my homework. I think I tested out. I was told I did not have to take this test, so I did not.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, you can learn from us, as you would say. Yeah, I thought it was a really good direct. I am getting more and more interested in this game. I also want to hear your thoughts on this, Trev, as well. But yeah, it looks really fun. I really like the look of it. I think the graphics are really good. Obviously, it's a Switch 2 game. I think it's going to perform really well. And I've always kind of, I don't know, and maybe you can talk a little bit less about this as well, Trev, but Splatoon in general, whether you've been a big fan to date, because I don't think I played the first two games in the series, and then I picked up the third one and had some fun with that. But this one, I kind of like the appeal of like treasure hunting and hopping from island to island, and that checkbox mentality where you can see the islands, they've got tick marks because they've been explored and you've got the treasure from them. That completionist aspect, I kind of like that as well. But yeah, what was your sense or your take on this direct? How do you feel about the game, Trev?
it's interesting. I'm the opposite of you. I played the first two Splatoons and never picked up the third. And when I say played, like I own them, the first one on Wii U and then part two on Switch, but I never put much time into them. for whatever reason. Um, certainly compared to someone like Kalen who has
Mm.
sunk hundreds of hours into it. So I viewed this direct more as yeah, I know Splatoon, but I wouldn't call myself an enthusiast
Mhm.
for Splatoon. But yeah, my interest has grown. It's interesting. You said, liking the look of the game. I was watching this with Jen, and I get about halfway through, and I said, "Do you think this game looks like Donkey Kong Bonanza?" And she's like, "I was just getting ready to ask you that," which isn't a bad thing because that was a great looking game. But did you pick that up?
I did, yes, especially when they started to go through some of the levels and when they talked about going below ground and things like that. Yeah, there was definitely a look to it that yeah, it was reminiscent of Donkey Kong for sure. Yes. Yeah, I agree,
And
100%.
it's funny because going back, like when Donkey Kong was first shown, I was thinking, oh, underground, is it all going to kind of
Mm.
have that underground look? And it was very diverse. And
Mhm.
same thing with Splatoon Raiders. It's like, oh, we're on this archipelago here. Are all the islands going to have a similar kind of tropical look? And then we watch the direct, and it's like, no, there's a lot of diversity. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, I think that's a cool thing. I want to see more.
Yeah, and I thought as the direct went along, just like you, and I noticed that look, and it's sort of becoming a 3D platformer at one point, and you're like, because you're jumping, you're the mechanic, and you're jumping around, obviously shooting. It's a shooting platformer, but it's a 3D platformer, and I thought, is this the next Mario? Like, is this replacing the Mario that we're waiting for? Like, we've had Donkey Kong, Splatoon, Raiders, filling that gap a little bit, if that makes sense,
I
because
feel
it
like
does.
this game is blurring like genres. Like I can't
Mm.
peg exactly what it is. Like if someone were to ask me, Splatoon Raiders, is it an action game? Is it an adventure game? Is it a Metroidvania? Is it a roguelike? Is it like I don't know. Maybe a
Mm.
little of everything.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think there was a lot shown in the direct and a lot of cool features that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, they went through the treasure hunting. They went through the enemies, which seem quite varied because, at first glance, they seem to be kind of like just, I don't know, I thought they looked like seals, like fat, weird seals or something to me. But there's three types. There's the lesser, the boss, and the
Seal
seasoned.
the animal or seal the singer?
The animal. Yes, the animal.
I'm sorry, not to get off topic,
Yeah.
Gemma, but back when we had the Super Bowl here in America, they had this commercial where Seal the singer looked like a seal, like his face was CGI'd. It was
Really?
really creepy. Do you remember that, Kirk?
Barely, yes, yeah, yeah,
That
That's
does
about
look
right.
creepy.
It was kind of freaky, so you probably blocked it from memory. But
yeah. I think
Not this year's Super Bowl.
uh,
No?
yeah, yeah, it was back in
Oh,
what,
oh,
February. So
oh my
yeah.
goodness. Yeah, that's kinda weird. That is kinda weird.
I have other memories from this year's Super Bowl.
I bet you do.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, so and there's over like things like there's 100 weapons or over 100 weapons to choose from. You can obviously level these up to increase power. There's a lot of stuff. There's the gadgets. They went through the tank types and how gadgets belong to tank types, which I wasn't sure. I guess you can just change your tank at any point, but that's really neat. There's like it seems like it's really customizable. And so if you're having trouble in one particular level, you can change your tank, for example, and then change your gadgets. You can equip two at once. They can be customized. You can add parts and then they become stronger. And they showed how that works. There's a lot to it. Like it seems like it's quite deep, right? There's actually heaps to do.
Yeah, I do
Mm.
have to wonder though, and obviously none of us have played the game, but just
Mm.
based on other games you've played, when there's a ton of weapon variety, do you think will the game encourage us to like try them all and use them all, or do you think it's going to be a case where you find your favorite one and kind of just run through the game with that configuration?
Yeah, probably the the latter. I think
I
I would.
hope not. I mean, I want to. That's a knock I have with other games where they give you so like not that they're at all related, but like Kirk and I review a lot of the Kimco RPGs,
Mhm.
and a lot of times they have these systems that are really. It looks like on paper there's a lot to it, but I find a lot of the features I don't end up using because I can get by with a few of my core like attacks, and it's like man, these fights aren't hard enough where I have to delve into this. Or I don't know if that
Mm.
makes sense, but
Yeah, it does. And I wonder if you can change weapons during the level. Like, do you have an sort of an arsenal of 5 or whatever out of your 100 that you can take into level so you can swap between them depending on the enemies, maybe? Because that would
hmm,
help, as opposed to having to go back to the whatever screen and choosing
hmm.
something
Or
again.
maybe having objectives where like you have to tackle this enemy with this particular weapon, or
Yeah, I can see that being
something
a
like that.
thing. Like maybe I don't know if there's a a Navi type of person helping you out, going, "Hey, you should try. Maybe you should try this weapon on this enemy," or something like that.
Uh,
But
they were
but just
smart not to show that in the direct if there is.
no, but maybe hints, or maybe your little companion, the helper, the one of the deep cut trio who's in that little robot or mech or whatever it is. Maybe they
Mm,
talk. I don't know. Maybe they go, "This enemy looks like it needs a bit more firepower or whatever." Who knows? Yeah, but we haven't seen that side of things, which is maybe a good thing. There's heaps of places outside of the main game to do the upgrades. And if you fail a raid, you can, I like this, you keep your XP and your weapons and your items, so you can jump in and do it again, but you're a little bit stronger potentially. So I think that's pretty cool. It seems like they have 3 difficulty options, which you can change anytime, I think they said, but also salmonids.
it's hard to
They
say.
I know. She said it so well in the trail in the direct. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna say that on the show. But the enemies don't. So the enemy difficulty changes, but not the loot. So yeah, they are making it pretty accessible as well. I
That
like,
salmonid that was holding
yeah.
the tongs, that made my wife laugh out loud. Where they
Yeah.
were showing the different ones, and he's like got a pair of tongs in each hand, and it's like
Yeah, I noticed that one too. I'm like,
looking like
it's
claws or something.
yeah, and they're so long compared to the little salmon. It's like, what? And I did want to mention multiplayer because they showed that off, and I think it's not funny exactly. They said it's a single player focused game, which it is, and that's fine. And I think it's a really good move for Splatoon because we've got 3 of these existing games that are pretty much not they're the same kind of style. This is a spin-off, a new direction for the series. I like that it's single player focused. I like the single player game in the Splatoon series that I've played in Splatoon 3. But there's also multiplayer, which I think is important because you can play local wirelessly or online. But what I really like is this help feature. I think it's really quite a Nintendo thing to do. It reminds me of Mario Wonder, for example, where you have the little
Yeah,
help.
same.
Yeah, yeah. So you can call for help. Someone online can help for a little while. To me, it looked like there was a 90-second countdown in the trailer, and then there's a cooldown before you can call out again. But I love the idea of people sort of searching for help requests and coming in and helping. I think that's just really cool. Did
I
you
do
think that
like
was
it.
neat? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and same thing. I first thought of a Mario, not Mario Odyssey, Mario Wonder, like
Yeah.
when the
Mhm.
characters would come in, and that game impressed me because people really did try to help, and
Yes. Yeah.
I imagine it will be the same in this, assuming this game finds a an active online audience, which I'm sure it will.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that. One thing I don't like, and this is like a becoming a trend with Nintendo maybe of late, is
Mm.
yeah, there's local multiplayer, but not local on the same screen. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah. I
feel
saw that
like
too. Mm.
is that their way to push, have multiple Switch 2s in the same household? Because let's be frank, with the price hike, I don't think that's a realistic
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
approach. It was is one thing back in the day when 3DSs, 2DSs were cheap, and you could do
Yeah.
that. But
And
yeah,
and you
Nintendo, I want 4 on the screen, or 2 in this case, whatever it is with Raiders. But I want to have, yeah, it's classic Nintendo. I feel like that's part of their identity.
I am surprised they can't at least have 2 on the same system because you're right. And can you use a Switch? Because sometimes you can do that, right? Even though it's a Switch 2 game, you can play on a Switch?
Sometimes, although this one it did look like Switch 2 when they showed the
Yeah,
image.
okay. Because maybe
So
is it the case this one, it's not game sharing, is it? You have to each have the game, maybe?
I'd have to double check.
Yeah,
I
because I think the
I
game
don't
share
remember.
lets you download it onto your Switch, which I still don't really know how that works, but anyway, wirelessly, I guess, but, how does it perform on the Switch? But
Mm,
yeah, this one, maybe it's actually you need the game. each of you needs the game. I'm not sure, but yeah, it
Mm.
seems like it would have been fun to play. I guess because they are making it the single player thing, but yeah, it's like forcing you, really, isn't it, into that?
Yeah, and
Mm.
I mean, well, you know what? I actually might talk more about this point with a different game later on. So
Okay.
I don't want to get into an early rant, but it's just something I've noticed lately with
Yeah.
Nintendo, and I don't like the direction. Maybe it's reflective of my age and how I grew up.
Yeah. I mean, it could be because, yeah, we did grow up the way that you're saying, like local players. And I'm thinking about my own kids and how they play, and they're playing like on their own computers, and they're phoning their friends, and they're playing from different houses, which is maybe how Nintendo's moving. I don't know if that's realistic because I don't know if people do that with the Switch or not, or Switch 2. Obviously, they have the camera. I don't know what the uptake is on that and people playing online, etc. Because I don't really do a lot of it. We play sometimes. We might play Mario Kart or whatever. Like you said, Mario Wonder, we play that and have the online connectivity and people jump in and help. But that's a bit of a different situation to what this is. But
Yeah.
local wireless, I mean, that means you do need 4 people in the same vicinity, like wireless network, with the game potentially. We don't know that fact for sure, but yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Anything else to add to this direct or Splatoon Raiders before we move on to a different topic? Does Kirk have any
Uh,
questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have an observation going back to my original
Sure.
take on this game,
Okay.
where because Sam played it, he had 1 and 2. I don't think he got 3, or maybe he got 2 and 3 and didn't get 1. I can't recall, but I remember watching him play it and saying at the time that I think I might enjoy this game if it wasn't multiplayer, because it looked like the gameplay mechanics were fun, but I'm not a big multiplayer guy, especially with that kind of game. And now they've released one that pretty much is giving me exactly what I asked for, and
Mhm.
here I am acting like I'm not interested in it. So I think this is another one where I would watch for a demo, or maybe someone in my family will get it, and then I'd pick it up and start playing it and find out if I could really get into it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fair.
Yep.
A demo would be good for this as well, I think.
I think we
And
just give Kirk the review code and force him to play it.
yeah. That could work too. That could work too.
I think there might be a staffer who would be a little more interested in it than me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Uh,
So I was going to add, what was I going to add? I was just going to say thank you for that comment there, Kirk. And yeah, it comes out in only a few short weeks. So July the 23rd is not far away. So we can find out for ourselves soon enough, I guess. But Trev, did you have anything to add? Sorry.
um, no, I think we covered a lot. I watching it with my wife. She really, and I'm not sure exactly why. I probably should have asked her, but she really liked how you can. It showed basically refilling the ink by just like kind of diving into the puddle.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "That's so cool! You don't have to backtrack to try to find like you know, uh, a refill or whatever. You can just do it right there." So,
Yeah. So she's
and I
able
don't
to.
know enough about Splatoon to know, if that's a thing or how that even works. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
that's
I
the
thought
base.
it was
Yeah.
interesting
Mm.
for somebody who's never really played them to enjoy that. So, an accessibility feature, I suppose.
Yeah, true. I think it's a really cool mechanic, and one of the things I love about the series, even though I haven't played a lot of it, is that squid style, because it's like Nintendo's take on the third person shooter is paint guns, and
Yeah,
I just like that. I really like that. But it's not just paint; it's ink, and that whole mechanic where you dive in to refill your shooter. That's part and parcel of the whole series. So it is
yeah,
really, really neat. It's a really cool mechanic. It works really well in Splatoon 3 because that's the one that I played. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that will work in a kind of adventure action, whatever genre style that this is. Yeah, I think it'll work pretty well. I hope it does well.
yeah.
We'll
I
see.
do. I one more quick thing, and this 100% subjective, but I've never really liked the music in the Splatoon games, and I wish I did because it's very distinct. It doesn't have a Nintendo sound per se.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much its own style, and I feel like it fits the atmosphere of the games, but I don't enjoy them. Like even on the Nintendo Music app, whenever I'm doing a playlist and it gets to a Splatoon track, I almost always skip it, and I
Mm.
feel bad about that. And I'm wondering, what am I missing? Do you like the music for the Splatoon or the one you've played
I
anyway?
don't recall disliking the Splatoon 3 music. I did notice the music in this direct, in this direct, and I didn't love it at times. Like, I just thought this is a bit, I don't know. I
That's
don't
such a
like it.
diplomatic answer, Gemma.
I'm nothing if not diplomatic. Yeah, but the music, I definitely noticed it in this direct, and it's at times, at least, I don't recall for the whole direct, but there was one point where I just like, this is too, like, the dissonance or whatever, something was jarring. I didn't like it. So yeah, I can relate to that a little bit. Yeah, but I don't remember
Yeah.
having an issue with it in Splatoon 3.
I
And
mean, we've talked about games too, like where some soundtracks you can listen to, and then
mhm.
others you have to be playing the game to appreciate them. And I feel like maybe with the Splatoon games, you have to be playing them to really get into
Yeah,
their style of
yeah, that
music
makes
and
sense.
whatnot.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Now let's move on to Star Fox, which is doing really, really well. So this is a Switch 2 game that came out just recently, and there's a few numbers that have surfaced in terms of sales. It's been like, I've seen it everywhere on my feed. People are just like going, not crazy exactly, but they're pretty excited about it. They're saying they love it. Seems like it's doing well from a social media perspective, but hard numbers also help. The only numbers we have are that there were 41,000 odd physical units in week one in Japan sold. So that's pretty good because that's physical as well. And it's also been number one on the UK charts. And UK's kind of hard to crack sometimes with Nintendo games. So that's also a good
Mm,
milestone. And the eShop charts. And one of the ones that's really cool to me is that it's actually been the top, or so June's over, right? We're in July now, and the eShop charts for Japan have been released, and it was the top. Star Fox was number one, which I think is pretty good for a whole month, especially considering it was the second half of the month. It wasn't out for the entire month. You know, it beat the likes of Elliot, The Adventures of Elliot, for example, which I thought would have done pretty well in Japan. But anyway, being a JRPG kind of thing. But yeah, so it's doing really well, which is great. Trev and I have played it. Trev's reviewing it. I picked it up to check it out as well. And this is the time when we can give our thoughts on it. If you like, Trev, did you want to go first?
sure. My review, well, this will post Monday. My review will be up by then. So go to Pure Nintendo if you want to read more, or wait for the next issue where an even longer version will be in the magazine.
Cool.
Um, but to the point of sales, I think it's worth remembering that Star Fox traditionally aren't the huge sellers like
Hmm.
that your Mario, your Zelda, your Pokemon, those type of games are. I mean, the best selling Star Fox is still Star Fox 64,
Yeah.
and that was what, like 4 million. So that's a modest number. So, we judge these things on scale, right? We don't expect Star Fox to do Pokemon numbers. We expect
Yeah.
it to do good for Star Fox, which it has, and
Hmm.
hopefully it'll continue. Um, I really enjoyed this game a lot, as you can see from my score. I gave it 8.5, which is great. It was one of those games. If I could have probably given it a 10 if I was overly nostalgic, or I could have bopped it down to like a 6 if I was really nitpicky. So I was trying to balance that out. It is a game that a lot of people have played. Star Fox, in a lot of ways, the franchise is one game that they just keep tweaking
Yeah.
and
Mm.
embellishing and whatnot. And this version on Switch 2 isn't perfect. It's got a few little quirks that bother me, but honestly, probably won't bother most people. And back to my earlier point, they did take away the split screen in favor of online, which
Hmm.
I do not appreciate. I don't think a remake should be taking away things. I think it should be adding things.
Wait, you can't play two-player?
No, you can, but not with the split screen. If you want to do
Oh.
like the battles, it's online or uh, game share, which it has its own unique limits. But
Ah, I just assumed it did. I haven't tried it, but when I first jumped into it and it said, "Do you want to play one or two players?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm
oh
playing one
yeah,
player."
we
I
played a
just
ton
assumed.
co-op, me and
Mm.
Jen.
Hmm.
Um, it's different in this one. One person controls the ship,
Ah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
right.
controls the reticle to fire using like mouse mode.
Hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. I give it credit. I had a blast. I had just as much fun playing two player as I did playing solo.
That's
So
cool. Hmm.
Yeah, and this game just a lot of fun. I said it in my review. I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I think it's tough to go back to the 64 after playing it on Switch 2 because it looks so great and it
Mm-hmm.
runs so great. And it's just, there's something to be said for short games
Mm-hmm.
too, because as much as I love the Breath of the Wilds, they're tough to go back to because I don't have 100 plus hours to
Yeah.
replay a game. Star
Okay.
Fox is built around replaying it and trying different routes and unlocking secrets and new planets and different story elements. And, you can get through the game in under a couple hours
Mm.
and then boot it up and play again. And we've done that over and over and over. And we're still unlocking stuff.
That is
So,
neat. That is really neat. I noticed that
yeah.
as well. I've done one playthrough so far, got to
Mm,
Venom, and defeated Andros, but it wasn't necessarily the real Andros.
mm,
And that was such a fun playthrough. And of course, then it tells you you can do it again and you can unlock different pathways, which I think is really, really neat. It's such a different way of playing today in today's gaming world. I think you don't see that a lot, right?
yeah, it is. It's unlike Nintendo. Star Fox is
Mm.
very unique, I think, as far as Nintendo first party games go. And it's funny me talking about it with some nostalgia. Um, but yeah, you Gemma, this your first time really
It
playing Star Fox?
is. I played the Super Nintendo Star Fox game. That's the only Star Fox game I've ever played, to be honest,
Mm,
which is weird because I liked it and I like shooters. I just, for some reason, missed out on all of the other ones, which, yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it did. So I have not played Star Fox 64 before. So yeah, it is completely new for me, which makes it, I guess, better value. I don't know. I certainly don't have that niggle or complaint, whatever you want to call it, where it is a revamped game, because for me it's not. But I totally get that point. And I mean, I think I agree with you. It looks fantastic. Like, it looks really, really good. I'm constantly blown away. I kept wanting to take screenshots because it just looks so great. It's
mhm.
really showing off the Switch 2. And the performance is yeah, again, fantastic. It's really good. It's fast. It's slick. There's no loading. I didn't see any loading screens. I didn't see any slowdown. Um, yeah, the controls are really good. The action is great. I had a lot of fun with this, and I really like the cutscenes. And I wanted to ask you, as someone who has played the original, I'm assuming these are new. The cutscenes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's funny because my wife's like you. She hadn't played Star Fox before. Like we played a little bit of Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, but not a ton. So after I beat the game with her, I said, "Hey, for giggles, I loaded up on Switch Online 64, and I said, watch this." And she's looking at it, and she's like, "Man, look at the way the characters' mouths are moving. It's like they're just in this little box, looking like they're having a seizure." And it's like it's like a wall of text instead of watching these characters interact with each other. And it's just so,
Hmm.
Nintendo keeps using the word cinematic,
Hmm.
but that's what it is. It's like Star Wars in a game, or Flash Gordon in a game. And
Mm.
I say that because, like, and Kirk will appreciate that. Flash Gordon, even though I've seen it, so many times, I can rewatch it anytime and have just as much fun. And I feel like Star Fox is that same way. No matter how many times I play it, I'm gonna have fun.
Hmm. I love that. That is such a good point. And I think, to your point about like the interactivity between the characters, it's such a huge part of this game. Like, it does feel like they're a team and they're a unit. Slippy, he's sort of that lovable engineer who's a little, I don't know, clumsy, maybe is maybe a word that you could use. So, and I really
He's
like
not the
his
best pilot, but
no,
he makes up for it in other
yeah,
skill sets.
exactly, exactly. Falco's obviously got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Fox is really cool. I just think he's not too arrogant. He's just kind of that good mix of a rogue, a lovable rogue almost. Yeah, and Peppy, of
And he
course.
totally could have been too, because
Mm,
he's got that childhood trauma, that potential for melodrama, right? They
yeah.
could have easily made him kind of a surly sort
Hmm.
of character, but they didn't. He's a character you you like and you can cheer for. And
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he cares about his team, and to talking about the little screen with the characters when they're communicating with each other. I thought in the Switch 2 version, because it looks like a screen. It's not like, it is still really good graphics, but it looks slightly like there's some lines sometimes come over it, like it's like maybe the connection's not quite right, between the ships. And I just thought that was a really nice attention to detail. And they had that, didn't they, back in the original? They had the little screens. Like, I remember that in the Super Nintendo version, they had the screens with the faces, but they didn't talk English. They were just like blah blah blah, blah 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 jabber.
they did.
Yeah, and so that was it. I like that. Seeing their faces and hearing them talk to you. I thought the voice work was really good. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I liked what did you say in your review about General Pepper? You called him General. What did you call
Oh,
him?
yeah. Because
Hot
that's
air
one
or
of the
something.
nicknames. That's one of the nicknames Falco
Oh yeah,
he gives him in one of the cutscenes, and
yeah.
it's one of those cutscenes you may not even see it right
Hmm.
on a playthrough, depending on the route you take. But it kind of fits Falco's personality. He is your teammate, but he's sort of like your frenemy in a way. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wants to one up you, and I really like like you see him like sitting there, and it's kind of like his eyes will turn into slits, or he'll kind of half roll his eyes, or
Hmm.
it just conveys so much personality that the
Mm,
64 wasn't really able to convey because of the limits of the technology. So I
yeah,
feel like this is what Nintendo probably saw in their brains while they were making this game,
yeah.
and now it's better realized with Switch 2 hardware.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even when they're in the cutscenes and they're talking, and you can see Fox's ears kind of twitch. Like, it's so, I don't know, it's animated, but it looks realistic. As in, he's not just standing there talking or listening. His ears are twitching while he's talking. Like, it's those little details that give it life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those subtle things really do go a
Mm.
long way to add up and make you feel immersed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Have we sold you, Kirk?
What's that?
Have we sold you on Star
Y-
Fox?
yes, I actually. Well, you said Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I did it on purpose,
Yeah,
but it is true.
attach that to anything and I'm buying
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, I think I plan to download the demo for this, but I think that may be perfunctory because I feel like this is one of those games. I'm not going to get it right away. I got a lot of games I got to review and other things in front of it, but I really think that I would get a big kick out of this game if I actually gave it a try. And like Gemma, or even more so, I've never played any version of this anywhere. So I'm coming in completely new. And I was thinking, like, we may have discussed this a week or two ago on one of the podcasts, that I was going to try it on classics, the older
Yeah.
version, but I
Mhm.
don't think I want to. I think I just want to come in completely fresh and, make it a full cinematic modern gaming experience for me. So yeah, there'll come a time, one of these podcasts in the future, where I'll say, oh yeah, by the way, I got and played Star Fox. So yeah,
Nice.
down the road, this will be a game I pick up.
Yeah,
Yay.
that's really cool. Yeah, because I wonder if this will end up on some of our top 10 lists of the year. That will be the thing to
It's
watch
I
for.
think it's gonna. I mean, and part of me does feel like I should reward brand new games, but
Mhm.
there's certain
Mm.
games that just work so well and are so much fun that they kind of withstand time. And I feel like Star Fox is one of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad to see it back. I'm so glad that the fans are loving it as well, and it's doing well. I hope it continues to do well, and I hope that means that Star Fox can come back again sooner rather than later in a new form, so that fans like Trev can actually have new content to enjoy. Right?
And yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, he was in the. Why was he in the Galaxy movie? I mean,
Mm,
was
mhm.
he just in there as a fun side character, or was there more behind it? There's I have to believe there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let's keep our hopes up. Did you have anything else to say about Star Fox?
Uh, Probably, but well, let's see how we do for time. I'm aware of a precedent, so
Yeah, fair enough. did you want to talk about an amiibo? Because I did notice in the game that you can scan, and I meant to try this, but I was too comfortable on the couch. My dog was on my lap while I was playing, so I'm like, no, I'm not going to get up and get my amiibo. But I do want to see. I want to try scanning, but it said you can scan amiibo. Did you try scanning? And also, do you have a new addition to your collection?
I do. I didn't have any Star Fox amiibo prior to playing this game on Switch 2, so I went and got Fox, which of course is an older amiibo, right, from the Smash line. So
Mm-hmm.
I got him for, it was pretty cheap. And I'm like, I
Nice.
want to just check it out and see how it works. And it's nothing too exciting, to be honest. It's just you get like a cosmetic background for when you're playing online.
Ah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so, but it did make me think because I was looking at the list, and I think I even said this in my review. Like, you have Fox and what do you have? Star Wolf and Falco. Where's the Peppy amiibo? Where's the Slippy amiibo? It feels weird to not have the full team
Yeah. Yeah, that's
represented.
true. Mhm. Yeah. I don't know why they don't have them. They should. Absolutely. I would get them. You know me, I
It's
would get
weird.
them.
I mean, they could do a lot of amiibo with. There's a lot of side Star Fox character. Even in this game, there's characters
Mm.
you might not see on a certain playthrough, and then you replay doing it a different way, and you're like, oh, hey, who's this?
Oh.
Who's that? So there's a lot of surprises here, and
Mm.
they might mean more to people who played later games in the series, but even if it's your first time through, it gives you a real sense of there's a living, breathing world with characters that have relationships and shared agendas and goals and things like that.
Mm. So true. Yeah. You never know, they might release some in the future. Maybe with a new game. We'll see.
Mm.
We can always hope. Yeah. Anyway, I was glad to get the physical, and that's one of the benefits of not reviewing, I suppose, because the review is a digital code. So I do have the physical. It just looks really nice, and it is going to be the cover of, spoiler alert, but just a little tease. It's the cover of our next issue of the magazine. There's going to be heaps of Star Fox stuff in there, so you jump on board and subscribe so you don't miss out. But speaking of physical, there was some huge news just a few days ago about actually Sony and Microsoft, well, Sony in particular, dropping physical games completely. And we just wanted to have a quick chat about how this might affect us, and is it something Nintendo would do in the future? How do we feel about this? I know a lot of fans, Sony fans, PlayStation fans, are really unhappy about this. The collectors. Kirk, sounds like you might have an opinion on this one.
I do. And first of all, I want to say I don't understand why the gaming industry does this,
Mm-hmm.
because all of the music that we buy now is available digitally, and they're still putting out LPs. They're still putting out CDs. They're even putting
Mm.
out cassettes again, for
Yeah,
crying out loud.
yeah, that's true.
The movies that we buy are all available digitally, and they're still releasing steel case collector's editions. They're releasing Blu-ray. They're releasing 4K Blu-ray. They're making all of this stuff is still available physically. Um, why gaming companies have decided now we're done just makes absolutely no sense to me. Other than that, maybe they're cheaper. Um,
Mm.
Games are expensive to develop. I get that. You want to make as much money as you can, but movies are more expensive.
Yeah,
So
true.
the companies, even with all the streaming and with it, they still put that out because it's another way to make money. Yeah, I don't get it. I fear that Nintendo will eventually go down that route. I think maybe like PlayStation and Xbox are both just like CDs or Blu-rays, right? They're
Mm.
big discs.
Mhm.
And it costs money to put that whole mechanism inside the console.
Mm.
And maybe it costs less. I have no idea. Maybe it costs less to do like the little carts that we're getting for the Switch too. So maybe that's something Nintendo did to just make it so they could continue to do this. I'm glad Nintendo's still releasing them physically. I hope they never stop. But considering the way the industry is going, I would not be at all surprised if the Switch 2 is the last system to have physical copies of games.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. You're so right about the other kind of media outlets doing physical still. I don't yeah, I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I always thought it was really cool that Nintendo stuck with cards rather than disc based. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know what the new, because I haven't played a PlayStation 5 or a 4 or a 3 or a 2. So my
Wait, you haven't
only
played a 2?
no, no.
Oh, wow.
I only played the PlayStation 1, and that
You're
was
not one of the 160 million or whatever the
no,
number is?
no.
That's right.
I didn't
Yeah,
contribute to that.
Sony was looking forward to adding you to their list of sales, and now they have to subtract one.
Yeah. I don't know, disc-based media, at least it used to be slower to load, because it had the laser and it had to read the light bouncing off the disc, whatever. It was slower. It might not be slow anymore. I don't know. PlayStation 5 probably loads things really quickly. I have no idea. But cards were faster back then. So I was kind of happy that Nintendo stuck with that. But now I know, what is it? The memory, the Switch 2 memory, things load faster off that than they do off the card, right? Like that's a thing, I believe. So I was surprised at that. I thought it would read faster off the card, but apparently
I
not the
don't
mic.
know if it's a rule. I think it might
Maybe it
depend on the
depends.
game.
Could do.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. That's what I was reading, so I'm not sure.
Gemma,
But
not to get off topic, isn't
yeah.
your favorite game Lego City? Wasn't that slow as molasses on the Wii U to load? If I
Disc-based
remember right.
media. There you go. Disc-based media. Because they did do that, didn't they? They did go to discs for the Wii U. And what
I
happened? The Wii
seem
U
to
didn't do
remember
well.
on Wii U it was really slow.
Oh yeah, the load times for that were abysmal. They were terrible.
And I don't think they were much faster on the update for the Switch,
No,
if I
I don't think.
recall.
Yeah, I think they were still pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a really good point. That was one game that had
but
super long load times.
and totally worth the wait.
It was. It was a great game. So that is fair. That is absolutely fair. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Nintendo. Now this is obviously just us kind of speculating, about the future now. Kirk thinks it's the last one. I don't know. I think, does Japan love physical media? All I know is when I was in Japan, they use cash a lot more than we use cash here. In Australia, no one uses cash, and we're all just digital. Like we're all just card this, card that. Everything is gone digital here. And I'm in Japan, which I think is like really a technically advanced country, who are the creators of things like Sony and Nintendo. And they want cash. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. It's like retro. So, and then you go to stores, you go to Akihabara, and there's just store after store of physical, consoles. There's Super Nintendos, there's whatever else, there's heaps of things, and games. There's games lining up the walls. So there's a big market for it there, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. And I wonder if in Japan they would prefer to have the option of physical. I don't know. This is just kind of speculating again, but yeah, I don't know. I think, Kirk's point with movies and music, why games? And is the people who do, the collectors among us, is that a minority? Is that something that the big companies don't need to appeal to, because it's not, they're the vocal minority, as I think Trev might say, because we see that on social media all the time. We see the collectors posting their awesome collections, which are great, and I love them. But is that a small number of people compared to the millions of of console owners? Most of them are probably getting digital. So yeah, maybe it's a money thing. I don't know. What do you think, Trev? What's your opinion?
Well, I noticed when Kirk was talking about media and like music, he didn't mention vinyl.
He said
So
I
LPs.
said LPs,
he didn't say vinyl.
long playing records, LPs.
Yeah, no, this is it's interesting. I'm not surprised necessarily, but I do think Nintendo operates to the beat of their own drum,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're looking at a lot of things. They're looking at the competition, they're looking at their profit margins, they're looking at their fans. It's easy to manipulate numbers to basically prove any points you want. And I don't know what the numbers are for digital, physical, but even in our own collections, I own more digital games than I do physical. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those digital games, I can only get them digitally. They're
Yeah,
like
that's true.
small eShop games, or they're games I grabbed on sale because they were 99 cents or something. the big games, the first party games, your AAA games, for lack of a better word, I'm grabbing physical, and I feel like the number there is still a heck of a lot closer than the overall breakdown. And I think Nintendo's aware of that.
Mm,
Their games that hold value are still being bought by physical physical versions for collectors and fans alike. So I wouldn't be shocked if Nintendo doesn't follow suit. I wouldn't be shocked if Sony or Microsoft don't end up backtracking
mm.
to some degree, depending on backlash. We already saw that years ago with Xbox when they were going to do a I can't remember what it was, like all streaming or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and fans threw a riot, and they're like, "Oh no!" On second thought, so but where does this go? If we go all digital, what's next? Is it all streaming?
Mm,
Then
mhm.
does it cycle back just like records have come back? Are we
Yeah.
going to start coming back again? Are we going to release games level by level on plastic carts that we have to put into a mini Switch too? And I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
I
such a
wouldn't worry too much at this point. I guess I
mm.
think it's a little. If you're a Nintendo fan, obviously, if you're with Sony, PlayStation, or Xbox, it's a little more pressing. But if you're just a Nintendo player, it's probably premature to worry at this point. The Switch 2 is still very much in its infancy, and Nintendo's already said their first party stuff is going to be all on the cart, and let's enjoy it and see where it goes.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Trev. Yeah. I think I mentioned, which game was it? Because I've always got the first party games physically as well, right? It's just something it feels right to have. And then I got one of the Zeldas, might have been it was Tears of the Kingdom, actually. Yeah. So that one I downloaded and it was weird because I didn't have the physical copy. It's just like I've got
And
all
that
the
was the
Zeldas.
tipping point. They looked
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and they said, "Hey,
Mm, yeah. Mario Wonder also. I got that digitally, which yeah, why? Why did I do that? I don't know. I don't
Jim,
know. Yeah,
did we call you out on it at the time, or maybe we didn't put up
I
enough of a fuss?"
definitely mentioned Tears of the Kingdom because I remember that I downloaded it at midnight, which is the primary reason why I got it because I just wanted it straight away. And you talked about um, getting things. What was the question you had last week? Did you ever get a thing physically because you got it digitally and you wanted the physical?
Oh
Mm.
yes, yeah, I forgot about that.
That is one I should and want to do is get Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. I had the opposite though, where I had Mario Kart 8 physically, and because I played it so much, it was annoying to swap it around, and I really, really, really thought about getting the digital version just so I could have it more accessible on my system.
Wait, did you do it, or you just think
No,
about it?
I didn't. I was waiting for a sale and I just never did it. But I thought
Uh,
about it often. Every time I had to put the thing in, I'm like, gosh, just download this thing. Yeah. So
hmm.
yeah, it's interesting.
I have done that with 3DS games because the
Mhm.
SD cards on them are, you can only really go so big. So some
Yeah.
digital games I've reviewed that I was able to acquire physically fairly cheap. I did replace those copies. I haven't done it on Switch, and certainly not on Switch 2. But yeah,
Yeah. Listeners, let us know your thoughts on this whole physical media debate, if you could call it that. What's your opinion? Do you love physical? We'd love to know your thoughts. Our last piece of news, I have no idea what this is, Trev. AEW Forbidden Door PPV. What is that?
This
don't
is
ask
my
me.
tangent for the week.
Oh, it's Kirk. Sorry, Kirk. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I should have wrote my name in there. I just because I've never seen this before, and we've talked about wrestling before. We've talked about wrestling games, and we've talked about AEW, All
Mhm.
Elite Wrestling, my personal
I should have known this
wrestling
was
league.
Kirk. It's AEW, of course.
Yes, yeah. They had a pay per view on Sunday, and they had a steel cage match, 6 men on a side, total chaos, and they always bring in weapons. This kind of match, of course, is going to be very violent, very bloody. I have never in my life seen somebody pull out. I'll let you guys guess. What Nintendo physical item do you think somebody would use as a weapon against another wrestler during a match?
A Game Boy?
Hmm. No, that's too little,
No,
Gemma. You got to be like
yeah.
the Wii balance board.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been fantastic. No, it was a straight up NES. Kyle O'Reilly pulled out an NES and cracked it over Kyle Fletcher's head during the match.
What?
And got a huge pop for it. Like, it became news. Like, oh my God, he's using an NES.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Oh my God.
Kyle Fletcher is an Australian wrestler, Gemma, so
Oh.
you might be sad to learn that he was the one who took the brunt of the attack.
Oh no.
But yeah,
Did it
yeah,
bust
look it
up
up.
the NES? Like, did it break?
No. He hit it and kind of threw it to the ground. And if you looked at it there on the match, it looked like it was still in perfect shape. I
Wow.
would have liked to have seen someone plug it in and play a little bit during, out on
They
ringside.
built them like a tank back then. They don't build them like they used to.
No, they were built to last. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, a Game Boy is too small, but I just thought it was something you could hold in your hand and use as a like weapon, like smack, smack, smack. I don't know.
How about the power glove? Put that on your fist.
Now you're playing with power.
Oh man, I got so many ideas now. I don't even really like wrestling, but I can
See?
just imagine.
You got to become a promoter, man. Get out there and start telling some stories. Yeah,
Oh,
all my years of wrestling, I have never seen anyone use a gaming system as a weapon during a match. Absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you, Kirk.
a Wiimote with nunchuck attached, so you can
I-
like strangle them.
Yes, I thought of the nunchuck. Yeah, that would have been an option. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh,
That's great. Thank you, Kirk. Let's continue with Kirk and move on to Kirk's Corner. Which game do you have for us this week?
I'm going to talk about a game you'd think I'd already talked about, but no, it's not the case. This game, we've talked about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok, which is coming out for the Switch, I think in a week, maybe a week I think in a week. The company has just announced that they are releasing Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, which is a game that is already out on other systems. On September 17th, it's getting a version 2.6 update, and at the same time, they are releasing it for Switch 2. This is a combat game. It's a two people in a pit fighting game with the characters from Grand Blue Fantasy, which I mentioned before, I think is a mobile game. That, as far as I know, it has never come to the West, available in Japan. It's got a lot of crossover characters, it looks like. So not my kind of thing, but in watching the video, what I liked about it is it looks like it's animated in the same way as those like old kind of stilted movement of the original kind of, pit fighter games.
Cool.
And it's got a ton of like party games built into it also. They have something called Rising Royale, Gold Brick Hoarder, Blast King, Gollum Defense Force, Beam Bouncers. So it's not just the fighting part. It's all these party games that you could play with it too. And although it of course focuses on online player versus player combat, it's got a story mode to help you get up to speed as you fight. So before you go take on other people online, you get something to compel you to get better at it, as opposed to like just having practice matches. There's a whole story that you have to fight through with the different characters before you go play it the way it's meant to be played. So, again, not my kind of game, but it looks like it's got just a ton of content packed into it, and may be worth it if you're, looking for that kind of combat again.
Yeah, cool. It says 1 to 30 players. How does that work?
That is like the Rising Royale. That you're not. It's two people fighting at a time, from what I can tell.
Mhm.
But in the party games, like the Rising Royale is described as race to the finish while avoiding obstacles and use items to take out other players in this topsy-turvy battle royale. So there you're hopping online with up to 30 other people and racing to get to the finish line,
Yeah.
fighting each other along the way, having to navigate various, as they said, obstacles, spinning gears and such, as you're hopping around to try to get there. So I'm assuming that's where you're getting up to 30 people.
Cool. Well, that sounds pretty fun, actually.
Yeah.
Is this something that you would check out?
Well, I imagine they'll hook us up for a review. If no one else claims it, I would try it and just let other family members who are better at combat, two-person combat than I am, handle that, and I'd take care of the rest of it.
Nice.
Or I'd just lose a lot and then write my review.
Yes. Yes.
is it all weapons based fighting, or are some of the characters like just hand to hand? Do you know?
No, I do not know. I think in the video I was watching, some of it looked like they were just, taking each other on with fists and feet. But I could be
Mm.
wrong.
Nobody's got an NES they're fighting with.
I knew that was coming. And do they have
No.
appropriate footwear, Kirk?
Well, then, let's see. I didn't notice anything out of my recommended attire for combat, so I think
Nice.
we're okay there.
That's good. Good to know. Nice.
Another reason, by the way, why I'm probably not interested in Splatoon.
Oh yeah, they don't wear shoes. Well, sometimes they do, but then sometimes they
there are-
don't.
Yeah, some
So,
characters.
yeah.
They show
Yeah.
a lot of midriff, I notice. So,
They
how
do.
does the ink not get all over their flesh? Like, how does that work?
Well, they're one with the ink. I don't know. I don't
What
know.
with the ink?
Yeah.
You sound like Gandhi or something.
Yes. It's
And
the
I should point out in Splatoon that not wearing footwear seems totally appropriate with what they're doing. So it's not as, it doesn't offend like it does when you're out on a battlefield.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Kirk. We look forward to that one when it comes out in September. And hopefully, yeah, we'll talk about it at the time and give more of our thoughts on whether it's fun, I suppose. Yeah, if we do get that code, that'd be neat. Cool. Well, let's move on to the games that we're playing. And we've covered Star Fox already, so that's the main game we're playing this week. But I wanted to give a quick update on Dave the Diver in the Jungle DLC, which I mentioned last week. I have finished it. I did really enjoy it. It's really fun. And I think it's worth getting. I looked at the price. I was talking to you guys before the show. I didn't look at the price beforehand, and it was only $9.99, which I think is really reasonable for what it is, because it does give you, like I said last week, about 10 hours worth of gameplay. But there's even more to do after the end credits roll. So you actually go back into the jungle and you can do all of these kind of side quests if you haven't finished them before finishing the main quest. So yeah, there's heaps to go back and do, which is really neat. So I did go back and do a little bit more after the ending. And I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I did talk about it last week, but I just wanted to highlight that it's finished. I'll write up my review this week. And definitely, if you're a fan of Dave the Diver, grab it. It's not too expensive. I think it's a really good add-on. It could have been expanded and made a whole new game, really. I don't know. I'd love to know what decision tree they had where they're like, do we make a new game? Do we make DLC? But I suppose if they've got an install base of players and they could keep it compact enough to be a DLC pack, like 10 hours is a pretty decent amount for a DLC. I can see why they might have gone down that route, but I'm very interested to see what they do next. This has been a game that's been pretty well supported since they've launched. So what else can Dave the Diver do? There's heaps going on in this one. Like there's turn-based battles. There's so much to collect. You can level up various things. Obviously, just like in the original, the menu, you can alter the menu. You can get employees working at your restaurant. There's heaps of cool characters to unlock, and like I said last week, you can gift characters. You can give gifts to characters to level up your relationships with them, and it's really fun to just find, because you can sort of talk to them and find out what they want, and then you can go about trying to find that item and make them happy. Yeah, heaps of side quests, heaps of fun. I'll leave it at that. Let's move on to Trev to see what he's playing this week.
Yeah. Well, real quick question for Kirk,
Yeah.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk, do you think you'll grab Star Fox first or Dave the Diver for the Godzilla DLC first?
I'm probably going to grab Dave the Diver first because I want to get it while it's on the sale. And of course, to make sure that I don't miss the opportunity to get the Godzilla content.
Yes. Good plan.
Excellent.
Yes. Very good plan. What do you got
All
first, Trev?
right. So, yeah, this is actually Star Fox has taken up the bulk of my time, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a game I talked about several months back, actually, and I just want to kind of give it a quick mention. It's the Marvel Maximum Collection. So it's a little bit, it's a repeat. Think of it like a clip show. I'm referring to a past episode. But this kind of fell at an awkward time. It was, I think I'd been on an anniversary trip and then I was sick for several weeks. You guys might remember.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it fell by the wayside. And when it's a code we accept, I always want to make sure I give it coverage. So actually, what I've been doing with this one, because this is a multi-game collection, it's got a lot of arcade and console and handheld, superhero games from back in the 90s. And what I was doing when I was replaying this is I was focusing on one game in particular. It's called Silver Surfer. It's a notorious NES game that's kind of well known for being one of the most NES hard games.
Hmm.
And for the longest time, people kind of ripped it for that. And then in recent years, YouTubers have like come to its defense and been like, "Oh, it's not really, hard. It's." So I was kind of playing it. Well, I needed something small to play in between bigger games, but as I was playing it, I kind of approached it with that angle, and I'm like, "Is this game really NES hard?" Because I grew up with the NES. Or are the people that have been talking about it lately, are they right? Is it actually easier? And of course, in the collection, you can rewind. So you do that, it invalidates everything. But I'm working on a little opinion piece on what this collection's taught me about that game, and really by extension, a lot of the gaming from the '90s that was more challenging maybe than we're used to today. I don't know if it's going to be on the site, or maybe we'll squeeze it in the mag or a future issue, but I do look forward to that. And definitely check out this collection, even though I didn't give it a proper review. There's a lot of good games in here. You can compare the same game across multiple systems, which always appeals to me. So I think you'll
Mm.
have good fun.
Yeah, how many games are there altogether?
Oh, goodness. A lot. There's
Quite a
the
few.
X-Men arcade game. There's Separation Anxiety. There's, besides Silver Surfer, there's a couple other NES ones, Spider-Man,
Mm.
like a Captain America one. Double digits in any case.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. And
And
I
then if
noticed
you
it's
factor in the
yeah.
multiple versions,
Yeah, true.
even more.
So it's on sale at the moment, actually, until the 9th of July, 15% off. So nice little discount
Worth it.
if you're interested. Yeah. So did you want to tell us then? Is it NES hard or not? Or are you going to say that for the opinion piece?
Well, it's it's pretty hard. The thing is, and I don't know how interesting this might be to most listeners, but when I'm playing as a superhero, it's one thing if I'm playing as, this rookie pilot on a rinky-dink spaceship. But if I'm playing as a superhero, one of the toughest guys, in Marvel or whatever, I want to feel like a superhero. I don't want to have one hit drop me.
Mm,
And yeah, and I have to shoot these enemies, multiple times. It takes me out of that universe.
mm,
So that's really my issue with the game. It isn't even so much the challenge, because a lot of NES games, like Gradius, that was just as brutal, if
mm.
you weren't powered up. So, but yeah, if I'm playing as the Silver Surfer, let me feel like a strong dude. Let me at least wreck through a couple early levels where I feel
Mm.
like I'm buff and bad before the challenge ramps up. They didn't really have difficulty curve back then like we do nowadays.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's actually an excellent point. Yeah. How do you balance a game that's about someone who's almost infinitely strong with, yeah, something that's actually enjoyable?
You got to
That's
make
a
it
good
hard
point.
enough so people who rent it can't beat it in a weekend, and then they'll have to buy it.
Yeah. Love that. Well, thank you, Trev, for revisiting that one. Marvel Maximum Collection out now. There's a Switch 1 game, but it's compatible with Switch 2. Very cool. Let's move on to Kirk and see what he's playing this week. What do you have for us?
Can we talk about Grand Blue again?
We sure can.
All right. Well, now I am playing because we got a review, an early access code to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok.
And is this the demo that you recently played?
It is.
Yeah.
In fact, I got the code before I finished the demo,
Oh.
so I had to hurry up and push through the demo to make sure that I got all the bonus materials
Yeah.
that you had to complete the demo to get. So I did do that, and it delayed my actual start with this game, but I did get them all.
Cool.
In fact, I think I mentioned last week that they had an option where you can make it where so you don't have to worry about combat at all. You just kind of like run up to the monsters that you're fighting, and I did that on the last one.
Nice.
They had to hurry up, and I knew I was going to have trouble with that fella, which I'll get to in a moment. Okay, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. this game, I like this. I like it a lot. I like the combat. I like the graphics. I like the characters. The interesting thing about it is, I mentioned in the demo, it kind of starts you out further in,
Mhm.
and you've already got like 6 people in your party, and you're doing all this. And so I thought, all right, well, we're probably 50% of the way into the game. No, maybe 5-10% into the
Oh,
game.
okay.
It starts you with all 6 people. It very much is, like I said, it's a game that's been out, I believe, on mobile, or at least the universe, and it just throws you right in with all these people. It does a great job of introducing the characters and their relationships with one another. There are like little movies you can watch, and in fact, you kind of, I shouldn't say you have to, but like there comes a point early where you can unlock little cinematics where the characters kind of talk about themselves and their backstory, and you get experience points for doing that. So each one, like at the very start, I was watching 3 of these little dialogues, I guess, in order to get that. And there was a point early on where like you're starting with everybody, and then 2 of the characters fall away from everybody else. And so I thought, okay, here we go. This is the part where now we had everyone, and then I'm going to be playing the game for 20 hours before I get the party back. They were back in about 10 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, it takes place in a universe that probably most of us don't know, but they do a really good job of catching you up on things and introducing people. But yeah, it's action based. It's not turn based, which is my preference in my JRPGs. But the action is really slick. You're fighting a lot of monsters at once until you get to the point where you're fighting one of the bosses, and they're massive. And they take a long time, like you're watching their health meter go down, and after 5-10 minutes I'm got them down to like 88% health. Like, this is going to go on forever.
Hmm.
But you don't mind because the action stays fun throughout the whole thing. You can do it where there are 4 people that you're fighting at once out of your main party of 6. There are other characters that you can call in. I believe there may be like up to 40. Maybe that's a little high. But you can unlock other characters that you pull in specifically for fights based on their skills. There are many ways that you can level up, with the skill trees, with the weapons that you get, and you can refine the weapons to make them better. There are, I can't remember what they're called, they're like these stones that you get to say characters low on health. Of course, you can update their health, or you can focus on, if they're really good on attack, make them even better on their attacks, and then just be careful in your combat. But the when you get to the quests, there's something unique here in that some of the quests you kind of like take care of as you're going through the stories. Others, when you accept the quest, they say, okay, you've accepted it, get your party ready and we'll send you out. And then you do, and it just takes you right to the fight. So you're not running around trying to get to where the quest item is. You're just there. You fight, you win, and you're immediately back at base and you get your rewards. Those 2 you can play by yourself, or you can opt to go online and play them with other people who are available. So, and they even say, if you're having trouble with one of them, don't do it by yourself. Go online, get some other people, to help out, and see if that works better. I haven't tried that yet. I don't know how many people are going to be reviewing it, and if there are a lot of people online ready to go.
That's true. Yeah.
But I will give it a shot.
The curse of the
Uh,
early reviews.
yeah. Yeah. Between that and having no like hints on, like this boss is really vulnerable to this, I just got to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
Which I should do anyway, but I'm old and lazy. But yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun. I still have a long way to go with it, but so far the game just starts firing on all cylinders right away in both the story and the action, and I'm hoping it's able to keep up the pace because it's really cooking.
Really cool. That's awesome. Remind me, is this a new game for the Switch for every console, or is it ported?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. And it comes out pretty soon. It's July the 9th, right? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be out just a couple days after this airs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Excellent.
if you're a JRPG fan and you're looking for something new to get into instead of yet another sequel or another remake, and don't get me wrong, I love sequels and I love remakes of my JRPGs.
Yeah.
Then yeah, get this one to go. And hey, no 2D HD anywhere to be found.
Yes.
Aw.
Oh,
Ah,
and it performs wonderfully on the Switch too.
mm,
I haven't had any problem with any stuttering or anything. Very smooth, and it's a
nice.
gorgeous game. Just the environments and the character outfits. It's fun.
Mhm.
Great fantasy environment.
Brilliant. So this is a new. So it's not just a new entry in a series. This is a new game because Grand Blue Fantasy is not new, right?
Yeah, see, like I said, I'm a bit confused on the past. That's just because I guess I haven't done the research. There was the mobile game. I can't imagine the mobile. I don't know if this is like an update of the mobile game, if that's what they mean by relink,
Okay.
or an expanded version, or it is a sequel to that. It's definitely from the same universe. So we know there is a
Mm.
universe because now we've got two people in a pit fighting in this universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
for all I know, there may be an anime attached to it too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
haven't seen anything on it, but yeah.
Who knows, right? Cool. That's awesome. Thank you, Kirk. Trev, did you want to give us a quick update on the adventures of Elliot?
I feel like Kirk was that HD 2D comment was him getting me back for my doing the homework comment earlier.
Yes.
Um, but fair game. It's all good. So Adventures of Elliot, um, which I almost had the review done, and then I got sidetracked with Star Fox. So
Mm.
that should be up soon. Um, for Gemma, have you played this much? I don't want to even do mild like spoilers in case you
I mean,
haven't.
not recently. No,
Okay.
I'm up to like I've unlocked time travel. So, yeah, I'm
Oh,
ready.
okay. Well, yeah. So
I'm,
you're early. Okay.
yeah, I'm
So
pretty
I'll be
early.
as vague as possible. I did finally beat the game proper, but it's one of those. We thought we had beat the game, and then we get the ending, and it's
Oh,
not a good ending.
I've heard
So I'm
this.
like,
Yes. Hmm.
okay. So then we went back and did something different, beat the game again. Still wasn't a good ending. So then we kept playing, and things kept opening up and changing, and we're like, how long is this game? And and I might have mentioned this already. I can't remember, but I wonder how many people think they've beaten this game, and there's still a whole lot of game left that they are just unaware of because the way it's structured. Hopefully, you realize that there's more to do, but maybe you're the type that wants to just check it off the list and move on to the next game. If
Mm.
you're playing Adventures of Elliot, there's a lot more than seemingly meets the eye to do. So, questions you think you have about how characters are connected and things like that, there can be answers, but you got to be willing to look for them. It's a longer game than I thought, and which is a good thing, especially because this is a game I bought.
Mm.
It wasn't a press code, so bang for your buck. But yeah, I hope to finally have the review. I tell you, when you buy a game, there's a lot less motivation to get a review up quick than when you got a press code.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I've done it before, but I feel like Elliot's suffering, and it's a great game. I'm going to score it
Mm.
probably around what I scored Star Fox, believe it or not, even though they're very different games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I hope when you get a chance, Jim, I hope you really can uh, get into it. And I hope this is another one you pick up along with Dave the Diver and Star Fox, because I
Mm.
think you'll really like it, even though it does have that HD 2D style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have enjoyed, like I mentioned, quite a few of the Square Enix 2D is HD 2D 2D. I can't remember. I always get
2D
that wrong.
HD, I think. Yeah.
You'll tell me, and I'll forget and get it wrong next time
Yeah.
too. But yeah, I have liked them, and it is my kind of game. I know, but there's too much ahead of it right now for me
There
to give it a
is.
shot.
There's a
Oh, I
few,
hear you.
yeah, and in fact, speaking of games ahead of it, because I have still to finish Indiana Jones, which I want to get back into as well. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second of the seven trilogies, is on. I think actually the first one also, but there's a big Square Enix sale at the moment, and that one is 40% off. So I really want to pick that up while it's on sale. Probably won't play it just yet because I've got the first one. I didn't get the second one on launch because I hadn't finished the first one. But 40% off, I can't not get that. Like that's huge. So in Australia, that brings it down to $50, which is pretty decent. So I'm probably going to pick that up. I think I saw Octopath Traveler Zero might have been on special as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this is also in the US. I'm looking at the Australian eShop at the moment, but I'm going to guess that Adventures of Elliot is not on sale because it's too new, right? Probably.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
pretty new. It feels old for me just because I'm thinking from a review perspective, but in reality, it's only been out for a little bit. So
Yeah, it's like a month. Was it early June, I think? So,
something
and
like that.
I did the same thing with Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song. I bought that one and reviewed it, and I took a long time to review it because I wasn't even sure I was going to at first. I just bought it for for funsies because I wanted to,
Yeah.
and then eventually, because it was such a good game that I really liked, and also it was going to be in my top 10. So I'm like, I think we need to do a review for this one. So
Well, you
yeah.
know what I say, Gemma,
Mhm.
for people, not just for you, but anyone who builds up a backlog because games are on sale and they can't resist. So like, what was you mentioned Final Fantasy? What was the discount on that?
40%.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you say you save 40%, but I say I saved 100% because I didn't buy it.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I will buy it and then not play it, so for a while. I mean, I could have done a
Uh,
review for Indie as well because we didn't get a code for that, and I bought that, and I've really enjoyed that one.
yeah.
So, but I'm not far
If
enough
you end up
along.
doing one, I may get it myself if it's good.
Yeah.
It's one of those on my wish list, but I'm like,
Mm, I know it's been 2 months though, hasn't it? We'll see. I haven't got, I don't think I'm far. Like I'm sort of a third through it maybe. So I don't know. Is it? I can't really review it yet. I don't think I need to get further. But it is really good. I have really enjoyed that one.
yeah.
Like that's
That's a fair point, though. It's worth saying, even for listeners. I think Pure Nintendo is unique because I do think, by and large, especially if it's like a story-driven game or a big adventure, we don't just sink an hour or two and slap a review up. We try to beat the game.
mm,
So,
yeah, which
and if
is
we don't, it's usually our skill set. It's not that we didn't try.
yeah, and it's especially worth noting because some of the games that we play, especially Kirk, are very long. So yeah,
Mm.
Kirk, you do an amazing job. Thank you. We are under an hour and 20 for once, so that's pretty good. We're at the end of the show. Did anyone have anything to add? Any last minute kind of things they wanted to call out before we do close things off for the week?
I have a 3-minute story. No, I'm just playing.
You got 2.5 minutes. Yeah, no, it's been a good show. We thank you, listeners, so much for listening, tuning in every week, and joining us on these shows. We love putting them together. We also love putting together the magazine, and we're doing that at the moment. We're a little bit late with this issue. Sorry, Moving House did set me back, but it is in progress. I can assure you. I've been working on it this weekend, and it's looking really, really good. I'm so excited to get it out to our subscribers. If you want to subscribe, you're not too late at all. So jump on board, head over to patreon.com/PureNintendo, and you can be on the list for the next issue when it does come out. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we are on Instagram and Blue Sky and YouTube, of course. I probably should mention that as well. I figure it goes without saying because some people watch this on YouTube, but if you're listening to this on Amazon or Spotify, we are also on YouTube. So check us out on over there as well. But that
Leave
about
us a rating too, or a review, depending on where you're listening.
yeah. Definitely give us a rating, please. That would help a lot. It helps promote the show to other people who might also like it. So yeah, it's really valuable to us, and it just makes us helps us realize that we're hitting the mark with our fans. So let us know which segments you like, what content you'd like to see covered, and yeah, leave us a comment and we'll read it out on the show. But thank you once again for joining us, and until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.
See ya.